thing here. All right, folks. Well, welcome to the Agent First Group. Today we have us. I mean, I cannot say enough good things about these gentlemen. They have been homies for a while now. They've taught me a lot about YouTube and have taught thousands and thousands of people the same thing. But first, let's go into some ground rules about our summits. At any point in time, you can raise your hand and ask a question. We want this to be as engaging as possible, as collaborative as possible. They have for one, they're super giving folks and are going to hold nothing back. So if there's questions that you have, now would be the time to ask them. These are OGs of YouTube, and we're one of the first ones to hop on the platform and make it work for real estate, specifically for real estate, other verticals as well. But really, they're the ones that charted the path, and they're evident. Well, I'll get more into the intro. I keep saying, let's go back to some housekeeping items. If you're a safe place to do so, turn on the webcams. It's going to provide a different conversation. Let's turn on those cameras, really practice being on camera because this is what we're talking about. We're talking about YouTube video and really marketing your business in a more dynamic way. So please turn on the webcams. That would be huge. It's going to provide different conversation. The summits are open to all brokerages. So it doesn't matter what brokerage you're from. Doesn't matter if you're in just becoming an agent or already an established agent. This is your home. So every Tuesday at 10 a.m. Central, we go live. And this December, we are doing a YouTube series. So last week we had Zach Schmidt, who absolutely crushed it, had a lot of really valuable information to share. And this week is no different. We have the channel Junkies with Jesse and Jackson. So one of the things a few things I want to share about them real quick is their presence and influence on YouTube can be seen every single day. And they're going to correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think I'm wrong. So they are, of course, the originators of the living in method. So essentially, if you see anything that says living in, um, and then insert any city, any county, any state, these folks are the originators. So that has been a huge, huge, huge hack for a lot of individuals that have had success on YouTube. They're responsible for millions in GCI. They're responsible for putting thousands of agents onto the platform successfully. So launching a YouTube channel is one thing, but maintaining it is another. So knowing right before we hopped on, Jesse was sharing if you're doing the same strategies that we were doing in 2018 and 2020 and 22, you're behind, right? So that's what we're really having a conversation around today. So again, if you have any questions, please feel free to raise your hand or drop it in the chat. But with that being said, I'm going to allow Jesse and Jackson to share a little bit of the backstory on how they got onto the YouTube platform. But very, very, very quickly, we're going to get into more of a conversation on what's working on YouTube, cost to action, everything in between. So let's begin. Jackson or Jesse, let's get going.
You want to go,
Yeah,
Jesse?
thanks for having us on. Yeah, just uh, appreciate that introduction. Yeah, just like Jamie said, the game has really changed and things have evolved. And the real reason that Jackson and I got into YouTube was really we were just sick and tired of traditional real estate. We went all in on all the social media aspects, Facebook, Instagram, uh, TikTok wasn't out then, LinkedIn, blogs, and we were just blowing tons of cash and loved video. And Jackson really started unearthing the SEO aspect of YouTube. And we used to focus tremendously on the SEO aspect and getting our content out in the search. But the YouTube algorithm has really changed and evolved over time as well. We used to not be into like home tours. We used to say home tours are not our friend. But guess what happened? COVID hit. And when COVID hit, the consumer shifted the way that they buy houses. Before COVID, they really cared about the community. If you guys remember, everybody was buying tiny homes. They cared more about where they live, being mobile, all those things. Well, then when COVID hit, we went to this whole work from home philosophy, and people cared more about the houses more than ever. So it really changed the way that we have changed the structure and the ways that we create YouTube and content. The cool thing is both Jackson and I um, still have a real estate license. We business all around the country. We have a dozen or so of our own channels from coast to coast. We work with thousands of agents, like Jaime said, and we understand the analytics more than anything. And that's really what our philosophy is. Our philosophy is we sell houses, not views and subscribers. So some of the big things that I see out there, because I do massive amounts of channel reviews, audits, We look at data and analytics every day. Some of the biggest things in the industry, I'll just tell you that I'm seeing right now, as far as like no-nos go, from our stance, is we're seeing a lot of people hiring agencies out there, and they're sending out the videos or creating views and clicks through bot farms. So a lot of these people promise you that they're going to get you views. We see the emails every day. If you're on YouTube, I'd love to edit your videos, and I'm also going to get you 1 million views. Well, if you look at where those views are coming from, they're coming from direct links or external sources. Um, we the three of our biggest things that we say, as far as like what are things that we advise against, is number one, and if it all depends on what your goals are with your channel. If you're looking to grow your channel as far as closings go, and that's what I care about. I care about money in the bank. For us, it's all about closings and exponential growth. So we do a couple hundred deals a year off of YouTube from our own business. We have agents that do uh you know 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100 plus deals a year from YouTube. So we see the range from all different things. So I always say, what is your goal with YouTube? Are you looking because there's three different silos of different creators, in my opinion. There's agents that just want to get deals. Those are the ones I like working with. There's agents that want to build a following, and they're trying to create this like celebrity style persona on social media, because in their mind, they believe that if they can create a following, they're going to create a business. I say that works when you're Ryan Serhant, Josh Altman, Frederick Eklund, and you're a celebrity style agent. And then there's the agents that just throw everything on the platform and just hope something works. We all know that, trying to be everything to everyone never works. The algorithm is the most powerful thing on the planet. So for us, we're really focused on our average view durations and where's the traffic sources coming from. But so when you're sharing your content, as far as like these bot farms and whatnot goes, is they're creating viewership coming from either bots or farms, or coming from countries that are outside of your target demographic, right? So if you're sending your videos to a bot farm or viewers in, say, Thailand or the Philippines or China or Russia, guess what? That's where the algorithm is getting established. And that is where YouTube's going to start sharing your videos with your audience. So you see a crazy adverse effect on that. So that's probably some of the biggest things I'm seeing right now, as far as like these agencies promising people views if they use them. And typically the key indicators is you'll see like 2,000, 6,000 views in the first like 30 minutes of your video launching, and you'll see zero comments. Also, you see that on Instagram with these people with these massive followings. Well, they'll have a million views, and then but you look at their videos and they'll have 2,000, or they'll have 1 million followers, but they'll have like 2,000 views and no comments. Like those are all paid. Those are all paid followers. So it always comes down to like, what are you trying to get accomplished? I know for me, if I go on a listing presentation and I have a channel with 1 million subscribers, that's called social influence. So that's why I say at the end of the day, it's like, what do you want to get accomplished? Because if I go on a listing presentation and I'm like, hey, I have 1 million subscribers on my YouTube channel, that's one of the main reasons you should hire me, is because I can put your house in front of 1 million more people than any of the other agents you're interviewing. That right there is gold, right? So at the end of the day, it's always about what are you guys trying to get accomplished. I personally believe that whatever tool you're using, you should have a purpose for using it. So for us, YouTube is a piece of our business that we're trying to generate like high volume amount of closings. And I'd say 95% of our business from YouTube, if you're doing at a scalable level, is going to be relocation. And for us, we've also shifted into a primary source of new construction. The reason why is because new construction with relocation just seems to go hand in hand. When people are relocating, it just seems something that's very simple for them to move into. So for us, if you look at our channels, like I said at the beginning of time, we used to do a lot of vlogs throughout the city. You'll see pros and cons, cost of living. We used to do like 3 videos a week. Then we went to 2, then we went to 1. Now we're big believers in just like 1 high quality video a week. But we shifted all around, and now we're really focused into doing house tours. So I work with a lot of agents at a lot of different levels on the ground level, and some agents will do 1 house and they'll do it anywhere from 20 to 40 minutes on a video for edited time. The structure is super important. We talk about dynamic pacing. We talk about the hooks, the rehooks, the calls to action. And before, we used to use a structure, which we used hook, call to action video outro. So it'd be something like if it was a pros and cons of living in Portland, Oregon, it'd be like, so you're thinking about moving to Portland, Oregon, where we're going to talk about the 5 pros and cons. So stay tuned. So that was the hook. And then we'd say, hey, what's up? This is Jesse and Jackson with the Real Agent Now group. If you're thinking about relocating to Portland, we do videos of what it's like to eat, sleep, play, drink, and relocate right here to Portland, Oregon. So if that's you, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and turn on that notification bell so you're notified each and every time we drop a new video. So that was the call to action. The thing is we were giving them too much instruction right out of the gate. And then we go, and we have people calling us every single day, and we absolutely love it. So if you want to give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an emails, day, nights, weekend, we got your back. We're moving to Portland, Oregon. So that was like the old structure of doing YouTube. I know it's a lot of information really quick, but it's going to make sense here in a minute. So that was the old structure. And now you have about 10 seconds to hook your audience. And there's so many creators from YouTube online, especially in the real estate space, that old structure just does not work anymore. What we typically see is on YouTube, you can see in your analytics graph, you'll see a 30-second retention graph. And if our goal is when that video is first dropped in the first day, is we want to see that 30-second retention graph at about high 60s, about 68, 67% or above, staying on that first 30 seconds. And then as the video starts getting shared out to a bigger audience, you'll see that number start to drop off. And you also see like the click-through rate and everything start to drop. We used to like really strive for, click-through rates in the teens and the 20s and all that stuff. The thing now is YouTube has done such a great job at knowing exactly who wants to see the video and who to put it in front of. Those click-through rates are typically in the 6% range. If you have like a channel with a couple thousand subscribers, if you got a lot of subscribers and a lot of views, that click-through rate is going to start to fizzle down. So what YouTube does is it sends the video out to your audience, your core audience out of the gate, and it tests it. And it's looking at, one, what's the click-through rate, and two, what's the average view duration. The longer people watch your videos, the more it puts it out in front of other people and the more engagement it's getting. So in this world where everyone's pushing this whole, people only have 30 seconds or 16 seconds. Well, that's true if you're scrolling or you're on the toilet or you're at your kids' games or you're in line at Starbucks. But if you're looking for high quality information, people love to sit on the platform longer. So what YouTube does is it puts that video out in front of the masses, your audience, it's testing it out. If you get longer average view durations, better click-through rates, guess what it does? Is it knows what the lookalike audiences are. If you guys have ever seen The Social Dilemma, every social media platform has avatars of who you are, and it knows exactly what you want to see. That's why in your feed, you guys see everything that you want. I turn those notifications for them to track me on because I know that it knows what I want to see. I actually like seeing things I want to see. I don't want to see things I don't want to see. So once that starts to happen, YouTube starts putting it out in front of other people, and that's how you can capitalize on your competition's audience as well. So our core goal is to make videos that are longer, that people are going to watch longer. And the only way you can make that really happen is through having a really dialed in structure with your video. So, before I used to be able to go out and wing it, kind of like I just did a minute ago, sit in a room with a green screen like this. But the game has really changed. And now, you got to have visually stimulating effects like Marquez is on here. He does a great job with this content, really good editor, keeps you engaged really well. And a few other people on here that I've seen in the game. So for us, we like to do the home tours because it's visually stimulating. And also there's a lot of inventory out there, right? Also, builders, typically in the markets we're in, they pay 3% or above. They're willing to work with your buyers and they're very competitive with incentives. So that's the reason that we really like that market. And, like I said, the market's changed. Back during COVID, new construction was very, very competitive. A lot of the builders weren't paying. So you had to have agreements with your buyers. And I felt like at that time, everyone had so much money. They were writing offers for $100,000 over list. They were waiving every contingency. They were throwing money around like Skittles. So getting them to pay the BAC when there was new construction not paying wasn't really a problem. But right now, that's really our core focus. And Jackson, I don't know if you want to add to that. That was a lot of
No,
information.
you went for 20 minutes. We're good. You guys got any questions?
Jackson, I apologize. I didn't
That
know
was
you
a
handed the
spew,
mic
bro.
over to Jesse. I mean, I didn't think he. Thanks for handing it back, Jesse. Thanks for handing the mic back. I'm so kidding.
I just had to set the stage.
I don't know if anybody's more confused than I am. No, I think Jaime asked how we got started was the question. But it to kind of sum all that up, it was a lot of videos early on experimenting, which I'm sure a lot of you have done, right? We've all tried a little bit of this, a little bit of Facebook, a little bit of Instagram, and what I struggled with early on was trying to figure out, okay, even if I do the videos, what do I say? What do I do? And then you try and mimic what you see out there. And so the authenticity is what lacks. It's funny because some of the best agents, and not even agents, they're not good at real estate, but some of the best realtors out there who actually close deals from videos typically are the ones that can almost be themselves the most on camera, right? So we really attract our ideal clientele from our videos. And so there's ways of doing it. And I really don't care about the social media platforms, like which one you want to do, you go all in on. But what we found was through hundreds, or I mean, to be real, like probably 200 to 400, 500 videos on Instagram and LinkedIn and Facebook. And even back then, before AI, we would take it, right, clip it, and put it on every platform. So they were seeing the same message on different platforms, and it just didn't generate any deals. So there was a gal who was doing blog writing at a really high level and really closing deals, and she found out that by putting a YouTube video in her blog, that it helped rank her blog, right? And so she did a couple of YouTube videos. I saw that. I never, ever, ever am going to steal credit from anybody in my life. But what she did was a couple videos, like a pros and cons type of video, and it had a lot of views. But then she went back to doing like escrow process, inspections, and knowing what we know now. I mean, especially when you do that, that's hitting a national and a broad audience. So it didn't get any business. But I started finally going, okay, what's this YouTube thing and keywords? And that's when I discovered that like Beaverton, Oregon and Tigard, Oregon was getting searched like hundreds of thousands of times a month. And I'm like, holy shit. There was no videos on YouTube about it. So we were really shitty at videos, but we had a camera and we just shot and shot. So that's how it started. And back then there was not a lot of competition. So it was very easy to put out really any video where we would put out a 6 or an 8 minute video about living in Beaverton, and it would just go because there was so much demand, but no video there. And then today things have changed a little bit, right? So all that stuff that Jesse was spewing out there, we can kind of circle back on, but it doesn't mean that it's more difficult or whatever. It's just the authenticity's got to be there, and you have to have a little bit more meaning in these videos. And I'm sure, you know, Jaime's felt it in the real estate world where me and him started 5+ years ago, and it was kind of just throwing stuff up there. And now, like, we put really good produced videos for you realtors out there, and they barely get watched because you guys have so much to look at, right? So that's how it all started. And then from there, once we kind of figured out the living in method, I changed our channel name to Living in Portland, Oregon, when I realized I was getting searched a ton, and it just blew up from there. I traveled the country. I started channels in all the biggest markets, and kind of the rest is history. And then from there, I started Channel Junkies, documenting it 5+ years ago, of just strictly YouTube for realtors, and it's definitely evolved in a little bit. But we want to make sure we get your guys' questions, because some of you, I don't know if you even have YouTube channels yet or what, but
That's a really good question. So thank you for reminding me on that. I like to take the pulse at the beginning of our summit. So based off of the topic that we're covering. So if you have published a video, same question as last week. If you have published a video on YouTube in the last 30 days, we're being generous here. In the last 30 days, comment in the chat. Or said a different way, how many videos have you published? If the answer is 0, that's fine. So how many videos have you published in the last 30 days? Let's see where we're at the moment. I want to start doing some rapid fire questions, and I want to get your opinion, Jesse, and also you, Jackson, as we get going. One of the questions I had is, what is the one video that you believe should be on every agent's YouTube channel today? I want to get very tactical very quickly. So, Jackson, since you're unmuted, you can go first, and then Jesse. So, what's the one video that you believe should be on every channel for an agent?
Oh, dude, you wouldn't believe that's actually a tough question.
Or as
It
close
depends.
as
Okay.
universal. I
Here's where
understand
I'll
strategy
answer
is
it.
different. Good, good.
Here's where I'll answer it because again, are you newer? I'm seeing because I'm reading the chat too. 4 videos, 0 videos, 0 videos. So starting out, I hate going, hey, we need a 30-minute video. I want average view durations of 10 minutes. It's got to be a crazy, dude, honestly, a pros and cons video and a cost of living video is an amazing start because there's already a lot of them out there. They do work. Those videos work. But one thing that I have to teach for 5 years with thousands of agents is getting over that hurdle, getting that video out there. So I have a saying called 2010 ATS because everybody would come to me all the time and want me to look at their channels, but they didn't shoot any videos. So I can't look at data, right? 20 videos in 10 weeks. And then I can dive into your analytics and your traffic source. So pros and cons, cost of living, top 5 suburbs, those kind of things. Another very easy one, is like a living in your city, full map tour where we can actually leverage the Google map and it takes all the pressure away from you, um, of getting videos out. So I'm just going to say that right out of the gate. If you're more experienced and you got dozens and dozens of videos, then there's not a, okay, now you need this video. It's more of like, let's get the base set. And then from there, we got to kind of figure out our niche because my videos are going to be different than your videos. And my market is way different than your market. And what gets taught out there by the gurus now is just one size fits all. And it doesn't. Trust me, I've shot videos from Washington State to Florida and everywhere in between. And it doesn't all work the same.
Very fair, very fair. Jesse, what's that one video that you would recommend?
Yeah, I mean, kind of like playing off Jackson, it's really hard to say. Like, if you're just brand new and getting started, like those are the easy ones. Um, it, when we look into people's channels, we can go in there and see like what videos are being favored greater than the algorithm, and like what the audience wants to see, and then we want to really lean into that. But if you were just like starting from scratch and you're like, what should you do? Like those are really good. If you want something that's going to like take your audience, and kind of be clickbaity a little bit, and get a lot of views really quick. Like we still use the video, like 9 reasons to avoid moving to Houston, Texas. That one does well. The problem is a lot of agents will get that dose of dopamine because it does very well. And then they'll start really leaning into those negative videos, those negative clicks. And then what happens is a lot of locals start watching those videos, and then it just attracts the wrong audience. So you have to be very delicate about how you use that. So if I was just looking to get it going really quick, is I would probably, personally, I would probably drop one of those videos, 9 reasons to avoid moving to my market. And then I'd have the structure really dialed in. And what I mean by structure is, the pacing, and then also like in what order is the information coming out. I like to put the most controversial topic up front. So that's
I
my
like
that's my
that. I
that's my
like
two
that.
cents.
No, that's so good. That's a really good point. I'm going to come to you, Betty and Leanna, next. One of the things that essentially what I got from that was not all views are the same, right?
Mhm.
So there's a difference between someone that is looking for the best real estate agent in Dallas, as an example. Somebody that watches that is a radically different person that is watching one of the videos that talks about the real estate market collapsing for the 30th time, right? So it's a big, big difference. Betty, what is your question? And then we're going to go over to Leanna.
Yes, thank you so much. My question is for Jesse. Jesse, you talk about the old way to hook and the call to action and to get into the video, but I was waiting for you to tell us like the new way,
Oh, yeah.
or maybe what you found that it's more helpful now, because I am still doing the old way.
Yeah. So when we saw the old way, like the hook call to action with the teaser video, like a lot of these agents would take 2 minutes to even get into the video. Now you have about 10 seconds, especially like with inline play and all that stuff, the video just starts going, right? So you really, and that's why you really see a big drop off in your data really quickly. You can't slow that down. That's going to happen naturally because of the way YouTube works. But now you want to like give them and have a structure that just like flows very fluidly from the beginning of the video through the video. So you almost want to integrate your calls to action and your hooks throughout the video. So when you're, say you're going through the house and you're talking about, say the kitchen, right? So you're like, now you're maybe you're a minute or two into the video, 3 minutes into the video, and you're talking about the kitchen, and you're like, yeah, I absolutely love this island. This island is huge. I've never seen an island this big in this house. You know, maybe you love a big island, maybe you don't love a big island, no matter what you're looking for. Or that's why we need to have clients reach. This is why clients love reaching out to us, so we can sit down and have these conversations about what you're absolutely looking for, and we can dial in your search, right? So give us a call, shoot us a text. Like, you're kind of layering in the calls to action and the hooks. You know, if you look at when Jackson shoots videos too, a lot of agents watch his channel, you'll see when he opens up the video, it's like different positions. So like maybe he's walking out of the house, maybe he's walking out of the kitchen to get the video started, because he's trying to create some visually stimulating effects and really draw in the audience. And then, you know, he's like walking out, he's like, you know, maybe it's, you know, I can't believe what I just saw in this house. I've toured thousands of houses, and I got exclusive access with JoJo into this house right here in Houston, Texas. There were 5 things that I saw in this property that I've never seen before in any other house, and I cannot wait to share them with you, right? So, and then going right into that, to the house, right? And then maybe talking about the exterior, moving through it. So there is no structure like that anymore. So even if you have to make notes, and you know, Jackson does a good job, like even when him and I go and shoot, he'll go into the house and he's like, I don't want you to see it because I want it to be like your reveal. And like, he'll close doors, he'll use little trigger points throughout the house. So like if he goes to a door and it's closed, and he's like, he'll tell me like, go to open that door and I'll tell you not to open it. So I'll go to open the door. He's like, Jesse, don't open that door yet. We'll show, like, there's something special behind that door. So, and so then later on through the video, we'll go into that reveal, and then we'll be like, that was what was behind the hidden door, you see? So we're trying to create micro hooks throughout the video. And I'll share my videos, share the videos with like my mom or like my wife's mom, and I'll tell them to watch the videos, not the YouTube videos, but like the raw video. And I'll just say, hey, what do you think of this video? And then they'll be like, oh, you drove me crazy because you were talking, not you, like maybe it's my wife's video. It drove me crazy because you were talking about this thing, and then you never showed it until the end. I also don't like saying like, stay till the end, because what happens is when you say that, people will skip to the end, and we'll see it in the analytical data. So, when I'm coaching agents, I like to say is it's just like, tell them that they're going to get this information, but don't tell them where they're going to get it. Because then if you don't tell them where they're going to get it, they don't know where to jump to. And we also don't put chapters on the videos either, because chapters are signals to skip around.
So this is awesome. This is so, it's almost like a suspense. You're giving like a little suspense. So you just want to come in. So you just want to, as soon as of the get-go, just like create an actual action, not just what's saying, like you're just opening, you're walking in or walking out or walking away.
Yep.
And then say something about it, and then create like, hey, I just want to show you X, Y, and Z, but first let's do this. And then do your kind of like call to action, like seamlessly.
Yeah, because we're all conditioned. Yeah, exactly. Because we're all conditioned to know that we're going to get the bulk information that we're looking for in the first part of the video. And I'll see it too. And then I'll also start to see a lot of agents really try to like make the video as long as possible. So it's very unengaging and very boring. So if you're going to make it longer, and like Jackson said, is like the length of the video is going to come with experience, and you're better off making a 10-minute video that's great than a 40-minute video that's not great. You know, you're seeing Mr. Beast even do this now, and really high-end creators, they're really focused on making higher quality content than ever before, because they know making the better videos is really where the money's at. But YouTube also wants to know that they're in business with a consistent creator. So in real estate and what we do, we found that one video a week is really the magical formula.
As long as it's quality. Yeah, I've seen you guys' video. They're pretty good. I like it when you make it a conversational and you talk about something, and then you just tell the other person, Jesse, and you just like interactive, like what you like, for your point of view, what you like about the house, and then he talks about what he likes about the house, and then you guys go to the other place. I've seen that. So that's pretty good. Thank you, guys.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Leanna, what you got?
Come on up. What's up? Jackson, I've got a question for you just based on what you shared about like things are different now. So like each market's different and that you don't have to be like everybody else. And that really the people that are winning are the people that are just themselves. So that's really what I'm striving to be is myself. And I put my business plan together this year and I've got a target market. So you guys had both mentioned, Jesse, you mentioned that the YouTube game primarily for real estate is relocations. And then I've seen other YouTube real estate agents that are blowing up just in terms of the business. I don't really care about vanity metrics. I don't care if I get 2 freaking views. If I get a deal, that's all I care about, right? Like my goal is the outcome of my paycheck. That's the only reason I'm doing this thing. And this medium is good for me just because of my personality. But I have questions about the type of content that I'm doing to attract and answer the questions for the people that I want. So I'm doing relocations just because that was, you know, here are the top 5 things about Edmonton, Alberta kind of thing, right? So that to me is relocation content. They're trying to understand what's happening in their market here because they're moving, they're researching. But the other is I want to do a move up demographic. I want to focus on the sell and the buy demographic because I already have a pretty large database of that for my previous job. And I want to be able to leverage it and bring it together. So I just want to know what your thoughts are on how to do that well. And can I do that?
So if it's relocation, then you're going to be leveraging, you know, YouTube, right? That's where the majority of them are going to be going to, or Google. But what we found is people are basically searching these cities and suburbs about 10 times more in YouTube than Google. If it's a move up home buyer in your market, what we found, they're not going to YouTube to learn about you know, selling their house in their market and moving down the street or to a different area. You know, and so a lot of like San Francisco people, they're like, well, our markets, our suburbs are blowing up. They're just erupting right now. But it's a lot of people who are working downtown and now are going out to the suburbs, right? And there was that shift. So if you're working with, if you want the people locally who are, you know, selling and moving on, that's a whole different medium. But I think again, it's the authenticity and rawness of you, but explaining that, because what we want to do is just talk about like the glorious side of how quick we can sell and how much money, but the painful side, like we opened this video, is stuff is sitting. But no realtor wants to talk about that. They want to kind of glorify that this is the best time to buy. But look, the one thing that I coach agents on is to step into the shoes of their clients, right? If it's a relocation client, they don't really give a shit about the you know, days on market in an area, the market updates, that this city has, you know, average price points 346.62. They're trying to figure out, has anybody in this room ever moved before? Like, it is stressful. It's the worst. There's nothing worse. And the only thing you're trying to figure out is how to not F it up. Like, I got my family, I got my kids, I got job, I got schools, where's the best place for me, right? So we try to do the best job we can without steering, and we don't steer in any way, but of showing that person their ideal area. Now you ask, how do I attract my ideal people? Well, I'm 40, just turned. I got 3 kids, 12, 9, and 5, and we're sports family. We're outgoing family. You know, that's my niche. It's not a luxury house. It's not, you know, a new construction house. It's not a this. It's not about the real estate. It's about me. So what I mean by like the authenticity is that people are very good at being themselves on camera and attracting that ideal clientele. You know what I mean? So when we get a lot of reach outs, it's typically, oh my gosh, I'm just like, when you said that you're from freaking Idaho and you moved to, or oh my God, I did the same thing, right? What we fear is that we have to be professional and we have to be perfect. That's why most people on this, if you haven't shot videos yet, is that, oh my God, I sound like an idiot. I don't know what to say. I don't know these areas. I don't know my numbers. That's not what the audience will. I'm the shittiest realtor that's like ever been a real estate agent. I kind of closed one deal, but Jesse took over and closed it. What I'm really, really, really good at, and it took me thousands of videos, is being myself on camera and figuring out what people want. So if it's locally, I need to sell my house and buy, then I'm probably leveraging Chat GPT, every forum, every Reddit, and being like, what in the fuck? What's the hardest thing about them? What are you most scared about? What are you most terrified about? What do you think's gonna go wrong? And then
Right.
that's my content. Hey, do you think that this and this is gonna go wrong? Hey, do you have that 3% interest rate and you're scared of this? Talk
Yeah.
about it. Be about it.
Right.
Because if you're trying to learn how to be an investor, if you've got heart problems, if you got back problems, you want to know how to fix that shit. You want to know the real deal stuff. So doctors don't market to us about how great back pain is. They go, if you got low back pain, it's probably because of this, this, and this. And then we're like, well, damn, I kind of trust this person. I need to go see him. So I like to teach kind of simply, like, get yourself into their shoes. And the whole thing about YouTube and why we've sold what 600 homes is because we're answering the consumer's questions.
Yeah.
We're not trying to act like professionals. We're not trying to data spew. We're not just talking and talking and talking and talking. We're literally figuring out what people are searching, and then we answer those questions, and then we kind of put our spin on it, right? So I've gotten very good at just, being myself on camera. And then the other thing I've gotten very good at is if I've got a Jesse or I've got a JoJo who are more the real estate agent guy, they're not the video guy. I can talk to them. They're not going to get this out on video unless I ask them, but then I hear what they're saying. I hear what they're talking about. And then I always ask them, like, what are the clients saying? What are the clients doing? I take all of those questions and then I ask them on camera, and their little wheels spin, and then they start talking and they start answering questions. So, when it's relocation, right? The most frantic thing is I'm trying to figure out where to live. That's why map videos do very well. That's why we always have vlogged and shown areas because, again, people search these areas 10 times more a month than YouTube than Google. So at the end of the day, they're really trying to see a good fit. And then from there, you're a wife, you're a mom, you're a dad, you're, ex-fireman, your wife's a nurse, your three kids are this. I've even gotten our gal in Portland to talk about her son has dyslexia. She gets calls all the time about parents whose kids have dyslexia. Guess who they relate with, right? That person, because they're identical. And so now they call her and go, hey, your son's got dyslexia. You mentioned that he went to a certain school. I need to have that school and I need your help. So really niche, own who you are. Don't try and branch out. Everybody sees through that. So just really make sure you're answering consumers' questions.
Can you, sorry, really quick, if that's okay, what about price points? So just because like a relocation, if I was to look at the average relo that comes into Edmonton, like the mass is going to be, it's going to be the first time home buyer that's going to be like 450 to 550. What if I'm doing a ton of house tours that are above that? Because I also have clients that are buying at 700, right? If they're selling cash in a higher market, and then they can come and they can essentially buy cash, have retirement, and that's why they're coming. But there's different pockets of these relocations.
Yep. And so it's your job to kind of figure out really the median of that. We don't want to go super cheap and show $300,000 homes because you're going to get a bunch of people who got bad credit and are going to have you help them try and find a house. You do land a couple investors that way. Your videos are going to explode and erupt because everybody wants cheap. We don't want to go Uber baller, 3 million, 5 million, 8 million, 10 million. Those videos blow up. They erupt. You just told me you don't care about the view count. You want it sales, right? So that's the trick out there nowadays is you see these channels where they're touring 4 million, 10 million, $15 million homes and they get a shitload of views. They're not closing homes.
Yeah.
You go the other way, you go very, very, very cheap. You do actually get a shitload of calls. But trust me, I did one of those. It went absolutely crazy viral. And we had hundreds of phone calls of people who can't afford homes. So with that being said, it's right in the middle. So yes, I'm shooting homes that are in that 450, but I'm really probably highlighting that 500 to 700 is like my bread and butter. And then I'm going to show that 900 to 1.2.
Perfect.
In our market, I've found that like 1.2, 1.4, like those are selling. Those are people moving, relocating. Those are people at the highest part of their careers. They can afford it. Anytime we get calls, I got a 3 million, I got an 8 million, I got a $10 million budget. We've had dozens of them. They've never really closed. I don't know if they're just people who want attention or what, but it's kind of that bread and butter. And then we kind of just figured out, like, especially again, market. So in Portland, we went like 800 to 900, because that's like where you can get a pretty decent home in Beaverton, Oregon. So which is crazy expensive to me. Here in Houston, we really hammer kind of that like 500,000 to 700 is a really good deal. And then we're going to showcase the 900 to 1.2. and we may dip into the 300s. I don't do 200s no more. But don't be afraid to go a little bit higher in price point. Again, we've all been trained. And you know, Jaime's been an ad guy. I've been an ad guy. Before I got into YouTube, I was doing Facebook ads. And how did you get the most leads? The cheapest homes in such city. Homes under $299 in such city. That's how you drummed up the most leads. And that's why the conversion rate was 1% because it was much people couldn't afford it. So like these people moving, relocating, man, they're at the pinnacle of their careers. They have to move. They want homes. And Joe Rodriguez told me this yesterday. We were filming. He goes, man, this market is slower. It's dead. But he goes, I remember in 08 and 09, we were still selling homes. Katy, Texas, the Woodlands, Texas. Like people were still buying. They still got to have them. They're moving here. They're relocating. They're doing whatever. The market slow down, but you got to figure out what that kind of bread and butter is.
I like it. I
Yeah,
like it.
I also want to add to that a little bit is for our relocation business, and the thing that we've noticed is that the average price point is significantly higher than our market average price point. The average down payment is always a minimum of our average is about 18%, and that's with over 600 sales. And the average credit score is like in the mid 740s. So for us, we're attracting a way higher end clientele. And I would say in certain markets too, like a majority of the buyers are cash. So it's interesting to me to hear that because typically with relocation, people are relocating for a job. So typically people relocating for a job are corporate execs and people with money. So it's interesting for me to hear you say that people relocating to your market are first-time home buyers, which leads me to believe that maybe your market is a a more affordable style of market. But when I hear that, if I'm thinking that along those lines, I'm thinking, okay, then you get more bang for the buck. So the people moving there that do have the money are looking like for some juicy stuff.
Yeah.
Let
Yeah.
me step in here. We got to keep moving. Let's get into some equipment stuff. Let's make Amazon rich. What is the one piece of equipment that radically changed the game for you? So I'm going to limit you to one, Jesse and Jackson. Just what's that one piece of equipment? It can be anything for your video making. I guess video making.
Well, I mean, I don't use it anymore, so that's tough. But the biggest game changer we had was the GoPro. Like, and we probably made GoPro sell thousands, tens of thousands of GoPros. But the reason why, extra wide angle lens, stability, right? That was the key to vlogging. That was the key to everything. Now phones do it and all that. Today's day and lesson, I'm probably gonna go with audio, like a wireless DJI mic. Like I can shoot with a VHS recorder. I don't care anymore. I need good audio.
I like that. Jesse, what about you?
Same thing.
Fair enough. Fair enough. All right. So to ask questions, please feel free to raise your hand or drop it in the chat. Another question I had for you was about lead magnets. Now, we've been speaking about calls to action, and there's different types of calls to action. There's an engagement type of action, like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. There's the contact me type of call to action where people can email you, click on your Calendly, call you, what have you. So that's more of the contact call to action. But I want to speak more about lead magnet types of call to action where you're providing a resource wherever you're providing it, whether you're giving them a code or asking them to click on the description for it. What types of lead magnets are you offering that people just can't get enough of? Is it calculators? Is it list of homes? Is it what are you seeing out there for lead magnets?
We
So,
just
go ahead,
introduced
Jackson.
this.
Yeah, so we we never really were big into links because we didn't want people leaving the platform. And we want them to reach out to us. So we're like, our encouragement is to reach out to us. But we've recently, the way that I've really thought about this was those are the people that are outgoing and actually have the goal to actually reach out, right? So I'm like, we have this massive audience that has never reached out to us because they're scared. And then we'll get calls also when people are like, I just got to the market and I was going to reach out last week and we never did. Well, that's because you got scared and now you're here and you can't figure out what you're doing. So what we've done is we've created a website that specifically goes hand in hand with our YouTube channel. So what we've built in that is an interactive map. So they can click on any city in the metro, and then that is integrated with our YouTube channel. So they can click on Katy, Texas. It's going to bring up all the Katy, Texas videos. If they click on the Woodlands, it's going to bring all the Woodlands. And when they click on that and they see all those videos populate, it also gives them all the listings in the marketplace for that city as well. So if they go to click on those houses, they have to register on our website. It's connected to YLOPO. It's all good in the hood. And then we also do a relocation guide. Right now, our biggest lead magnet is really the relocation guide, as far as downloads go. And we are getting clientele out of that. So those are the really the three things. And also Jackson and I worked really well to try to position the website into the channel to be integrated into the channel. So it looks like it's part of our brand. So at the beginning of the video, when they talk about where they're at in the city, I have the editor now like basically highlight on that interactive map where they are. So when they go to the website, it feels like it's a smooth transition over to the website. And then Jackson does a great job at explaining, like when he does a little explainer about the website, hey, we've built this resource tool just for you. So he's telling the audience we built this for them. And then he walks them through exactly what they're getting on that website and what each things do. So you're basically leading them down a funnel into that click.
You want to share who you got that website through?
Yeah, we did it through a Liftoff agent.
Liftoff, okay, yeah, I'm familiar with that. Perfect.
So yeah, they built their platform to integrate with YouTube channels out there.
Yeah.
So if you were to reach out to them and say, I want the same thing Jesse and Jackson have, like they have the templates built. And I will say that they are very fast. They know exactly what they're doing.
Yeah.
It's no fluff.
Is it a monthly subscription or is it like a one-time overall?
No, you pay for the setup for us, and we got like a ton of them. It was like the total cost for the website with all the landing pages and all the things, it was like $5,000.
Yeah, $5,000.
Really, you probably need the $3,000 one with the interactive map, and then it's $200 a month to keep it managed. And then they'll update you. They use Hotjar so they can see where the leads are coming in. They're sending you the weekly data with all of the information. I really like all that stuff. So,
okay.
Yeah.
I like that. So we have time for 2 more questions. Whoever wants to be brave enough to ask them. I have a question about titling, though. How do you think about titles? I mean, there's a lot of different, I guess, ways that you can title a video. So I want to give you an example. Let's say we were making a video about a property tour video. So what's your philosophy on that? Are you putting the address? Are you putting more about the property? Are you I'm not going to lead too much on this. How would you think about titling for a property tour video?
So we're not doing property tour videos in a sense of like a listing. It's not, if you want to do that and you want it on YouTube and show your clients, then it's a whole separate channel. And so when Jesse said we didn't do property tours back in the day, but we do them now, that was kind of misconstrued in a sense of like, we're not doing listing videos today. I'm still out vlogging. I'm still showing the community, and I still have elements of jumping on the map. So the core principle, again, is relocation, finding the area before the home. There's a lot of people who see these beautiful Texas homes and they want them, but then they're like, well, that area sucks, right? So you still want to make sure that the core principle of the video is about the area. And then that's how you can hit them with the calls to action of if this area doesn't fit you, if it's not where you're thinking about living, that's why you reach out to us, because we'll find the perfect house in that spot. When we title, you will notice probably, if some of you have seen what I've done, it's really tweaked lately. Like YouTube was all about search. So it was living in Portland, Oregon. It was cost of living in Portland, Oregon, long tail keywords, short tail keywords. Now we've kind of gone with these longer titles that don't have a lot of keywords in them. But the one thing I am getting is that city suburb in the front, usually towards the front of that title. So I have just found if I can put like Houston, Texas or Portland, Oregon up at the very, very beginning.
First 5 words?
Least, huh?
Like first 5 words, first 3?
I try like first 3. I sometimes will put 1, maybe 2 words in front of my keywords. I typically like to all cap my city state. And then if I don't, I've experimented with putting like 3, 4, 5 words, 6 words, and then Houston, Texas at the end. I mean, I find a correlation that it just doesn't work as well. I don't know why. So I typically try to get it up towards the front.
And then as far as your the structure, like you said, you're doing the vlog style with the home tours, community, and all of that. Are you kind of putting the community more towards the middle end of the video? Are you doing the home tour kind of the beginning? What does that kind of look like? Or does it
Yeah.
matter?
So what's so with title too, and I'll get to your question. I've got my thumbnail that catches them.
Mhm.
I basically made a run-on sentence now. The thumbnail catches them, but if you read the thumbnail, look at it, and then you go to read the title, it's almost like a big story. That's kind of what I've been trying to do as of lately. And that's why you're going to also notice, pro tip, the one big issue coaching a lot of agents is what I call the bait and switch. So you'll see a lot of agents copying my style thumbnail, like out in the community showing a house, and it may even show a lot of views, but then they come to me and they're like, the video's dead. It's not. And I look and it has like a 30-second average view duration or a minute average. And I'm like, well, let me see it. And I click play and it's a beautiful thumbnail. And then it's them sitting in a kitchen or them sitting in the studio. I think that's something that we could kind of get away with at the beginning because there was no competition. But now, and I do this when I'm researching stuff, you hover over that thumbnail and then you're kind of like, oh my God, that's exactly what the thumbnail is about. And oh, dude, I really want to know that. And then I click on the thing.
Yeah.
So you'll notice that, again, title is very important, but like my thumbnail is really what grabs them. And then if you notice my first scene, I take a lot of time when I'm done shooting the video afterwards. Another pro tip is I shoot my intro last. So I'm going to shoot the entire video, get it done. My videos are 45 minutes to an hour and 15 long, and then I go shoot my intro, and it's going to be exactly where my thumbnail is. So when they hover over it, boom, thumbnail matches the exact scene. I'm pointing at things. You're going to see me moving a lot and like facial expressions, and you'll never guess what you're going to see. So I can really keep them on. And that to me is more important almost than the title. And I know that kind of is like, it goes against YouTube. It's SEO, it's this and that, but there's something about, that well-produced video, that thumbnail that grabs them, and then just making sure that you've got that city suburb up there. And then from there, I'm just trying to run on words to like what's going to entice them. And you're going to notice I put a lot of like luxury home, massive home, affordable home, that kind of stuff. Those are little trigger words that get them to click a ton.
Let's get Laura in here and then we're gonna wrap up. Laura, what you got?
Hey, Jackson, Jesse, quick question for you guys. What are the best ways to distribute YouTube content? There's a lot of stuff out there that says you shouldn't share it at all. It ruins your algorithm. So just curious, what do you guys do?
It's the best question we got. That was the one thing we figured out early on. We had our YouTube videos. YouTube tells you to share it when you upload a video to YouTube. It's got every social media icon down there. Quickly share it here. And we did that. And we were in every Facebook group with realtors. And that was a share your video here. We'll all like, comment, subscribe. And now we started getting better at the videos, vlogs, keywords, description. Like we weren't even doing descriptions. I mean, it was ugly back in the day, but we figured out the SEO part. Now we took that video we worked so hard on and we shared it with a bunch of realtors. We shared it with our friends, shared it with our family. And it would get all like 200 views right out of the gate. And we're like, hell yeah, it's great. And then all of a sudden it was gone. Nothing. Zilch. And I started really, that's when I became like this data analytic nerd. It wasn't just shoot a video and upload. I really got into the weeds of it. And I started noticing click-through rates, average view durations, everything plummeted, right? So every time we launched a video, we gave it to an audience that didn't want it. They would click on it just to help us, but that hurt us. The algorithms never could get established. So starting a channel from scratch right now is painful. I'm actually starting a new one. It's a couple weeks old and I've done it 13 times, but it kicks my ass every single time. My number one rule, Laura, to my partner, whoever it is, if I ever see you share this video, our partnership is done and I will find somebody else to close these deals. That's how much I value the YouTube algorithm and setting it. I don't care if I get 3 views in the first 3 weeks from that video. It's going to come from search. They're going to discover that video and watch it. And that's what's going to help to, okay, this style of people like it. So you're going to be very tempted, very tempted, especially when it's slow going, to go out there and share it. But Laura, let me share something with you. We have a very, very, very high level training with agents who've closed like 100 million in volume. I'm talking crazy volume, hundreds of homes. Their channels are dead, right? There's multiple factors to this, but guess what? They got desperate. There's a few things that have happened. If we have too much content on our channel and it's old and it's 2020 pros and cons, nobody's watching them, we got to shed that weight. But the other thing is they get super desperate. I saw some comments in here about shorts. I do 2 shorts a week. Anti-shorts. Never, ever, ever, ever do shorts. If you do them on a separate channel. You want to make sure that we are doing the longest view duration we can, and it is long form, and we are allowing the algorithms to find it. So do not ever share it. Do not clip it and do shorts. Just do one long video and let it go.
Boom, 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 boom. Folks, if you found anything valuable, I'm sure you did a ton, but if you have found any value in our session today, comment Junkies in the chat. Let's spam that chat. I feel like a live streamer, but I'm not. So comment Junkies in the chat if you found value in today's session. As you can see, there's just so much information that Jesse and Jackson are just so free with, right? So it's a lot of tactical information, a lot of information that took them hours upon hours upon hours of just painful hours of learning, thousands of dollars of experience as well. So please feel free to reach out to them. With that being said, Jesse and Jackson, what's the best way for the conversation to get going? If someone has questions, if somebody, whatever the case may be, how can people stay connected into your orbit?
Yeah, if they obviously we have the Channel Junkies YouTube channel. We have a Facebook group, and you know, we do high level coaching as well with a lot of agents. We've coached thousands of agents, but yeah, when Jaime says when he says thousands of dollars, I think we have invested over millions of dollars into YouTube. So, and we love sharing it with agents. We love seeing the success. Actually, some of the agents in here I see are in some of our programs. So, and a lot of you have probably even been through them. So, thank you guys for all your support. We really appreciate it.
Thank y'all for coming through. Really do appreciate y'all. Y'all, again, as mentioned at the beginning, the footprint that Jackson and Jesse have left on YouTube is very evident. Just go to anything, any realtor channel or most realtor channels out there, regardless of the state and multiple countries, anywhere, you're going to see their footprint. And they're the original folks of a lot of different things, and the strategies are actually working. So super excited and thankful that you attended or presented in our summit today. So last week we had Zach Schmidt that absolutely threw it down in talking new construction for YouTube. Today was the easy way to generate leads on YouTube with the Channel Junkies. And then next week we're gonna have Kyle Seagrace with Win the House You Love. That's going to be talking about AI secrets for creating your YouTube workflow. And then to cap off our YouTube series for 2024 is going to be Mr. Franco with Ola Franco, with the YouTube mastery for the 7-figure blueprint. Wow, that was a lot. Thank y'all. Thank y'all. Alrighty, well, y'all make it a fantastic Tuesday. We're here every Tuesday at 10 a.m. Central. Outside of that, see y'all on the next one. Thank you so much, Jackson and Jesse and everybody for participating today.
Happy holidays.
Homies.
Bye.
See ya.